So piggybacking off my last video, this is how to heal limiting beliefs with Santa Muerte. So most people have limiting beliefs and they keep them small. They keep people living disappointing lives, never taking chances, never betting on themselves, never taking risks that could lead to their own benefit. And all they do is end up sabotaging themselves, turning down opportunities, or they're so focused on these limiting beliefs that they've ingrained in themselves that an opportunity can be right in their face and they'll see right past it. They won't even notice it because they're so locked into this negative mind space that comes from having too many limiting beliefs. So if there are things you want to strive for, things you want to do in life, and you keep telling yourself, oh, I don't know if that's for me, I don't know if I could do that, oh, I'll never be able to achieve this, oh, I wish I could do that, or you see somebody online doing something and you wish that could be you, but you feel like, oh, I'll never be able to do that. Those thoughts that are saying, oh, I'll never be able to do that, that's a limiting belief. I'll never be able to be rich because there's all these problems around me, there's this, there's that. People, and we have so much documented proof in this day and age, people have overcame every manner of obstacle and achieved tremendous, great things, because they didn't have limiting beliefs. And you could do that too if you simply get rid of your limiting beliefs. I've gotten rid of a lot of limiting beliefs and I'm still working on eliminating more. And you can do it too. You can use the Navy Santa Muerte. The Navy is like a very dark blue, and she specializes in limiting beliefs and things in the subconscious and the unconscious, where deep in our minds, where we don't even think about stuff, certain things are happening in the back of our minds, and our minds will think things based on certain experiences we've had. So if let's say somebody rejects you, you ask somebody to go out on a date, they reject you. In the back of your mind can think, oh, well, if I ask somebody else out, I'm just gonna get rejected, so I'm not gonna bother. And so in the front of your mind, you'll see somebody attractive who's maybe interested in you, and you'll be like, oh, I'm not gonna even try to pursue them because they'll just reject me. That's a limiting belief. The limiting belief that you're always gonna be rejected. That's how limiting beliefs happen. And so we can break out limiting beliefs. It can be a little difficult sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, but it's very rewarding when you start to realize for yourself that you are gradually breaking out. It's not a 180 kind of thing. It's not one day you have a limiting belief, the next day you don't. And for me, it's like it's a back and forth thing. Like some days I will kind of believe the limiting belief, other days I will easily push the limiting belief aside. And it happens more and more often to the point where I don't really have the limiting belief so much so anymore. It's a gradual process. It's an organic and healthy process. You don't have to use the Navy Santa Muerte. The white aspect is a healing aspect, and she will work with you just fine. So one of the things I like to do is I have a hand mirror. I think any hand mirror will do. I personally like a hand mirror. You can use any kind of mirror. It just needs to be small, and I keep it on my altar. I keep it on the altar. I keep it face down on the altar. And I use it specifically for speaking to my subconscious and my unconscious. I leave it on the altar. It like absorbs the altar's energy. When I look into it, I hold the mirror, I look into it, and I will speak to myself. I will look myself in the eyes and I will try to connect directly to myself. You can ask Santa Muerte to empower the mirror to connect to your subconscious, to connect to your unconscious. This is what I do. And what I do is I will hold up the mirror and I will read out a list of affirmations to counteract my limiting beliefs. I have a long list of affirmations for different topics. I have a long list of affirmations relating to maybe finances, financial beliefs that are limiting. A long list of affirmations relating to self-love. Another one relating to personal confidence. I have, I think at least 4 or 5 or 6 lists of affirmations I've written down relating to different topics for myself. They are applicable to me and me only, because I wrote them based on what I was grappling with and what issues I was having. And so the mirror at the altar, very powerful. Santa Muerte has called the mirror a sacred tool. And it is a sacred tool. There's so much more to mirrors. So I keep one at the altar. I keep a hand mirror at the altar. Now, when you write affirmations, and you don't always have to say affirmations at the altar, you can write down your affirmations, you can put them on your phone lock screen, you can repeat them while you're meditating, you can repeat them in the shower, there are all kinds of ways you can write them up, type them out, paste them around your house, around your room, around your office. Affirmations are just phrases, sentences you repeat to yourself to try to instill a belief within yourself. I will become a millionaire. Money comes easily to me. I am the most confident person in any room I walk in. People, whatever you want. I love myself more than I love anyone else. Whatever it is, I don't know what you're dealing with. But the thing with affirmations, I find, is I don't like to just write one affirmation. I like to make a list of at least 10 to 15 affirmations, and I will go down that whole list. And I will just read it, and then I'll reread the whole list, and I'll reread the whole list. Like, I don't give myself too much time to think about each individual thing I'm saying. I kind of just read it with intention, the intention of it reaching my subconscious, and I go to the next one, read it, go to the next one, read it, go to the next one. When writing affirmations, my personal advice is write it positive and write it present. When I say write it positive, there's a train outside. When I say write it positive, what I mean is don't write your affirmation focusing on the negative. Let's say you're poor. Let's say you have trouble, you can't ever make ends meet. You're struggling financially. Don't write down, I am now escaping poverty. My money problems are going away. All of my debt is cleared. The unconscious, in my opinion, it does not differentiate between positive and negatives. It just focuses on what you're saying. So some people say, and I kind of believe it too, that if you put some negative words in your affirmation, it might not really work. It might cancel out, or it might invite more negative. I would not use the words debt, poverty, worthless, fear. I wouldn't use those words in affirmations. I would use the opposite words. I would not talk about, negative words. So, for example, instead of saying all of my debts are cleared, you could simply say, I have more than enough money to pay for anything that needs to be paid for. It's, in that regard, you would have enough money to pay for your debts, but you're not talking about debt. Or you could say, instead of saying, like if you have a fear of public speaking, you could say, I no longer have a fear of public speaking. Instead of saying that, you could say, I love public speaking. Public speaking, you could say that, like that, it works like that. Just look at the way you're wording things. Always word things in the positive. And not only that, but it's more higher vibrational to word things in the positive. Affirmations especially, because they are things you're repeating over and over and over to yourself. And the more positive, the more positive energy you will kind of muster up. So when it comes to affirmations, positive and present. When I say present, we don't want to say, I'm going to become, a millionaire, or I'm going to get high self-esteem, or I'm going to become a CEO. Because when you say I'm going to do something, you're putting it in the future, you're putting it away from yourself. And when manifesting, or when, with affirmations, you want to have it now. You're affirming that you have it now. I have high self-esteem. I have millions of dollars. I have, etc., etc., etc. I have it. I have it now. You don't want to put it in the future, because the future is away from you. The future is distant from you, because you're not in the future. So I always am of the mind to, when it comes to writing affirmations, I always write a list of at least 10 to 15, always positive and always present, in the present tense, I mean. So, some of the things you can do There's all kinds of things you can do with affirmations. One of my favorite things to do personally is it has to do with TikTok. So what I do is, because with TikTok, if you watch a TikTok video and it finishes, it'll start over. It's just like a loop. The video will loop unless you scroll. What I do is I will record myself saying affirmations for myself. And just a very short, the video might only even be a few seconds long. I will just read off a list of, I don't know, however many affirmations. We'll say 15 affirmations about any topic. And personally, I like to, not to interrupt myself, but I like to, every list of affirmations is for just one thing. I don't jump around. I don't make one affirmation list with like 10 different topics in it. I don't try to cover love, finances, health, family, friends. I don't try to cover it all in one little affirmation list. I like to cover all my bases. I like to speak positively on what I'm trying to accomplish with my affirmations. So I will cover it from multiple different angles and word it in so many different ways to kind of really get a more well-rounded form of control over these limiting beliefs. So that's why every affirmation list is only going over one thing. So what I'll do is I'll go on TikTok, I'll open up my app, and I will record, my list of affirmations about something. We'll just say about self-love, and I'll record it. After I'm done recording it, I will not post it publicly. I'll save it to drafts. I'll save it to my drafts so only I can see it. And what I'll do is, once it's saved to your drafts, it's in the drafts. And I'll publish it, but I'll publish it and it'll only be visible to me. I'll publish it privately. So it'll be saved for me. And I'll be sure to, on the thumbnail of it, put what exactly it's for. Self-love, affirmations, something like that. So I can easily see it when I click, without having to click on it. And so what I'll do is I'll click on it when I'm at work or when I'm falling asleep. I try not to do it when I'm falling asleep because I feel like my phone will get overheated if it's on the bed or something. But basically what it ends up being is it's your voice reading out a list of affirmations in the present tense, positive affirmations in a loop in your ear. You can listen to it at a low volume while you're at work. I've done that before. And since the videos are usually only a few seconds long, you can play it for hours at a low volume in your headphones. Some people will play it out loud while they sleep. This is my favorite method to do it, and I've probably done it with 4 or 5 different affirmations lists. I think it's pretty effective. I think it's great, and it's my personal favorite method. I'm sure there are other ways to record yourself and put it on a loop, but for me, because TikTok works the way it does, it works just fine for me through that method. That's just one method. It's just one of my methods I like to do. And so beyond that, you can, if you're more advanced or if you know what you're doing, you can create sigils for each affirmation and post those around and empower the sigils. You can program crystals with your affirmation, like little crystals that you can keep in your pocket and help you kind of stick to and really ground in that affirmation. You can write down the list of affirmations over and over and over in an affirmation journal or something to really try to ingrain it in yourself. Personally, I don't really like to do that. To me, it feels like when you get punished in school and you have to write lines. Like, that's what it makes me think of, so I don't really like to do that. Plus, it starts to feel like work. I prefer recording my voice. And plus, you're recording it with your own voice, so that feels like that speaks more to the unconscious and the subconscious, because it's not the same like when you listen to positive affirmations on YouTube by some random person. When you record your own voice and listen to your own voice saying these affirmations, to me that feels much more powerful. And you can listen to that all day long, out loud or in headphones. So that's just what I like to do. So these are just some ways of healing limiting beliefs with Santa Muerte. These limiting beliefs can be relating to traumas you've gone through that you want to heal from. They could be relating to new things you want to manifest in your life, whether it be money or health, diet, etc., etc., etc. Anytime that you see somebody do something grand and you feel like there's no way you could ever do that, you're giving into a limiting belief. I feel like I can do anything in the world, and I'm still trying to expand even further. I feel like I sell myself short sometimes, and sometimes I feel like I keep putting myself in a box with what I can achieve. I already consider myself to be a very, very driven, ambitious, workaholic person, but it's easy for me to be a workaholic because I love working. It's very enjoyable and fulfilling and fun for me. That's why I can get a lot of stuff done in a small amount of time. Stuff that takes people months to work on or even years, I can do it in a month. Given that I have ample time to rest during that month, but right now while I'm still working my 9 to 5, not really viable for me, but it is what it is. So thank you for watching, and good luck with healing all of those limiting beliefs. I know you can do it. I've done it. We can all do it. Good luck and take care. See you in the next one.